flashback.
What I need to do now is stick these along the floor like I did in my Transit Custom. I'm going to create a load of them. It's really easy in this one because there's no the intervals aren't switching, unlike in the Transit Custom. So just going to put these 2.4 meter long poles. Finish the ribs for the flooring.
End of flashback.
Now that the floor is dry, what I'm doing is I'm lining up from this end and from where I can see the dowels underneath for the insulation. I'm just drawing lines where the dowels run underneath all this ply. And after I've made that line, I can really quickly go along with the drill and some really short 20mm wood screws and just drill, and then that means the plywood is now fixed down to the floor, and I can then start getting the actual laminate flooring in. Now comes the bit I'm excited for. I'm really looking forward to getting this flooring down. It's going to make such a difference to the inside. The only thing I have to remember to do is to be a bit careful when walking around in here if I've got like rough shoes or anything, so I don't want to scratch up the floor too much. But it should be fine. So it's always important that with the first line that you start... How loud is that playing? So I'm making sure to take extra special attention and time to the first line, because that's going to be like my foundation line. It's from where I'm going to start. The rest of it is going to be pretty simple, just a straight line, but for these I need to make sure they're cut and also the corners fit in. I also need to account for the 10mm gap that I'm going to put around the whole edge so that it can expand and breathe and acclimatise, yada yada yada. What do you guys think of the new floor? It's pretty much there now. I've got this little bit left to do, then I'm going to cut one so it's like a long strip to fill in that last gap. But the last things I really want to do is probably push this one that I've got my head on over, like cut out a little groove so it fits the wheel arch, push it in, fill in the other side, and then do that the same over here. I'm going to put boxes around the wheel arch, but I feel like the gap that is making is way too large, just because I don't want the box to be that big. I mean, it's wasting space at the end of the day, so do a little bit of trimming here and there, but we should be good to go.
A few moments later.
Done. So that is the van floor. There goes all my change. I've also managed to pick up all the cladding that I need to do the inside of the van with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this wall first. I need to add these two to the frame, just so that when I get the shorter pieces along here, it's supported at 2 points on either bit, and it just adds a bit more support for all the longer strips as well. Now, a quick tip to speed up your workflow if you are going to be cladding your inside of your van with like thin pine or softwood cladding. I've got a countersink, and all I'm doing is where I'm about to screw in a hole, just quickly countersinking that area and then screwing in, because the screw will quite happily screw through it without cracking the wood, but when it gets to the head it pushes the wood apart and splits it. So what you want to do is just give it a quick buzz with a countersink, drill straight into the centre of that, and it guides the screw as well so it doesn't drift off. So yeah. Do you guys like my new feature wall? So much cladding! Oh, it looks great! Well guys, this is what over 300 screws and a hell of a lot of pine cladding will get you. Oh, it looks great! Look at this! I've done the walls, I've still left the ceiling, I'd still need to do the door. I'm going to leave the door probably until like for a later on job. But what I need to do next is I need to get my solar panels, my electric parts, my piping for the water. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get some trunking, or actually make up a box myself, but run it just above the wheel arch along here and all the way along to the kitchen area, and that will be like my piping and electrical cabling to get stuff all the way to the front, and that will be just behind the seats. So if I ever need to access it to change something, fix something, it'll be a lot easier than putting it behind all the insulation and the panelling, because oh my god, I never want to take that off, because the amount of screws and everything I'd have to remove, it would take yonks.
Listen.